from Sawdust and Embryos, coming at you with another tutorial. So today what I want to talk about is the drywall mudding finale, and what we're going to do is we're going to check for any imperfections and then take care of those, and then we'll be done. So to do that, there's two different methods we're going to use. You can use one or the other or both. The first method is I have a sponge, and we'll do kind of a wet sanding or a sponge sanding, and this will take any of the powdered or sanded mud out, and it'll show us where the imperfections are. And then the second method that we'll go through is using a light to detect where any imperfections are. So the tools that we'll be needing is one regular household sponge. You'll need a pencil so you can mark your imperfections. You'll need a light. It doesn't have to be this light, it can be any source of light, just something that'll cast a shadow. And then you'll need your mud pan and a mudding knife. And size doesn't really matter on this.
Oh my.
That's what she said. Size doesn't really matter as far as the mudding knife for this, because we're just gonna skim the areas of imperfections. We'll also need a bucket for water and our mud. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first part that I want to talk about today is using a sponge, and we're gonna get our mud wet. This is gonna pull any loose drywall compound off that's been packed into the imperfections from sanding. It's just going to help us visualize where those areas are. So I'll run down and just kind of feel, you know, like when I was talking about sanding, I can kind of feel a low area right here. So I might just mark that right away just so I know where it's at. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my sponge wet here. You don't want it soaking wet. You just want to get your mudding compound kind of damp. So we're going to come and we'll just do a whole section here. And I'll just go ahead and clean the rest of the wall off too. So as you can see here, at least I hope you can see it. Come on up close, camera lady. You can kind of see here, you can see some of these imperfections, these pittings. So I'll go ahead and
we totally can't see it, but we believe you.
Okay, well they're right here. So anything that's somewhat deep, I'll circle. That way I can come back and I can just run my mud across there. If it's a real shallow imperfection, you can use your sponge and kind of just lightly sand it or buff it to get rid of it. So I'll just come down through here and circle areas that I want to pay attention to. I always use my sense of feel just to know kind of where any imperfections are. And just throughout the whole process of sanding and checking, I'm always kind of feeling the wall, just so I know what's going on. So, and that's as far as using the sponge to check. That's that. I'll also use the sponge in areas. Oh, you want to follow me over here? Get a picture of our messy stairway. In areas, you know, if you're doing a repair on an already textured surface, or you're kind of blended into an already textured surface, I'll use that sponge and just kind of blend the mud into that, so it's wiping away. That way there's not a crisp line right where you mudded on the edges. So, alrighty, we'll go on to the next step.
Yes.
Alright, so our second method of detection that we're going to use is a light source. And what we're doing with this is we want to cast a shadow in those imperfections. So we'll hit this at different angles and kind of mark our areas. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and turn this on, you know, and here's an area here, there's an area of concern, there's an area of concern. So we'll just kind of come at it with different angles. So I'll do that. So what I'll probably do on this is I'll probably sponge everything down, because I just want to pull all that out and fix any minor imperfections, and then I'll come back and fill it with mud, and then I'll probably lightly sand that down with my light so I can see if there's any additional imperfections that I missed. You can do one or the other or both. Okay, so now that we have our highly decorated wall, we'll go ahead and mix up some mud and fill these imperfections here. So what I want to do is, I don't want to use the mud right out of the bucket. I'm actually gonna thin it out. One of your hairs in there.
Sick.
So I have a little bit of water in there. I'll just mix it up. Alright, so what I want is I want this to be about like a whipped yogurt, or maybe a meringue. So just kind of, so it's smooth. It's almost seems kind of fluffy. So, and this won't take much. I'm gonna take this. I'm just gonna fill in those imperfections. And all we're doing is, you know, I wanted to thin it out for two reasons. One, so that I don't have to sand a lot off, and two, said it would be able to squeeze into all the small imperfections.
Ooh.
So some of these areas that I circled, I don't even see where the imperfections are. I'm just kind of trusting my judgment that they were there, and I'll just fill that area up. So this is our drywall mudding tutorial, the drywalling mudding finale. We're really excited to go ahead and get some texture on it. If you have any drywall mudding projects or experience, please feel free to comment below. Thanks for having us.